Welcome back. At our last visit, we were discussing the concept of body composition as a component of our overall health maintenance. We had identified 7 major areas in which we can work to optimize our health. These are listed on your screen, and we will be discussing all of them in some detail in this series. We began our discussion with body composition because it's a topic foreign to those of us who have been using our bathroom scale to tell whether we have too much stored body fat. As I pointed out last time, our bodies are composed of various tissues, all of which have weight, but all of which do not negatively influence our health. Numerous medical studies have shown that it is excesses of stored fat that causes negative health outcomes. Other studies have shown that not only the amount of fat, but the location of fat in our bodies can be important to health. I suspect that most of you may not be aware that excess storage of muscle in certain situations, and even excess bone formation in some cases, may lead to serious illnesses. All of these situations will be addressed through this series. But before we do that, I want to show you some of the examples of the kind of equipment that actually measure body composition and the reports that are generated from this equipment. Hopefully, this discussion will make this topic come alive to you and make you excited about measuring your own body composition when you have opportunity to do so. The 2 pieces of equipment that I will show you today are considered the current state of the art for composition measurement. Both of them are very accurate in the sense that they give the same results every day with very little variation. They are the DEXA scanner and the bioimpedance machine. We'll begin with the DEXA scanner. This device, which looks similar to X-ray equipment, uses a movable radioisotope source and a small camera to measure the density of various tissues over which they pass. If the weight of the patient is known, the isotope camera and an attached computer can calculate the weight of fat tissue, lean tissue, and bone tissue for the individual being studied. The entire process requires about 20 minutes, and it's painless for the patient. It's actually quite a relaxing test compared to most medical procedures. The amount of radiation exposure is about 1/20th of a chest X-ray, and it's totally safe for all individuals except perhaps for women who are pregnant. The measurements generated by the DEXA scanner are compiled in a 2-part report that is very user-friendly. Let's take a look at the report. At the top left, you can see a schematic picture of body being studied. Muscle tissue is red in color and bones are blue. Fat is yellow, and this is appropriate because fat is mostly yellow in color when you look at it on a biopsy. I've heard the words ugly pounds of yellow fat or something like that. But anyway, that's how it is on our scan. The DEXA report shows us where our fat is located, either below the waist, above the waist, or in both places. It also shows the general shape of our body. The yellow boxes on the report detail the weight of the fat tissue and lean tissue, and the latter is further divided into muscle weight and bone weight. As you can see in the yellow box at the left bottom of the report, the DEXA is capable of evaluating the weight of these 3 tissues in various locations in the body. The totals are toward the bottom of the box, and for the patient here, you can see are 32.512 kilograms of fat and 61.908 kilograms of lean tissue, with a total value of 94.420 kilograms. Now, we measure things in pounds, as you know, and we can quickly convert these kilos to pounds to make it more meaningful to those of us who live in North America. As you can see, there are 2 more line items just under the totals line. These are android fat and gynoid fat. These measurements detail how much weight of the fat is stored in the central part of the abdomen and how much weight of the fat is stored in the hips. You've probably heard of studies that have shown a difference in health between the apples and the pears. The apples have fat in the central part of the body, pears have fat on their bottoms. This android and gynoid measurement is a technical analysis of the apple versus the pear fat storage in each of us. We'll be discussing this topic, of course, in more detail later in our series. The important thing for us to see today is that these compositional measurements are possible, safe, and give us repeatable, accurate data regarding something that's very important to us. The second piece of equipment that is available to measure body composition is called a bioimpedance meter, and it estimates body composition by measuring the variability of low-voltage current flow through body water and body fat. As you can see, this machine looks like one of those old drugstore scales from 50 years ago. For this technology, the patient simply has to remove his or her shoes, hold on to the artificial arms of the machine, and stand for a minute on the scales. A very low voltage current passes from the base of the machine to the arm attachment and generates data that is different for different types of tissues. This low voltage is safe for all, including pregnant women. The machine and its associated computer are able to determine the weight of the fat tissue and the lean tissue based wholly on regional current flow. The measurements are accurate and repeatable and give values close to those obtained with the DEXA. Unlike the DEXA machine previously discussed, the bioimpedance equipment is not capable at this time of separating lean tissue weight into muscle and bone weight. This limits its value a little in older adults who are concerned about bone loss disease, osteoporosis. Nevertheless, the technology is very accurate and it's painless, and it requires very little time and expense and no radiation. It is also much more portable than the DEXA equipment, and therefore can be transported easily to remote locations. On your screen at this time, you can see the report generated by the bioimpedance equipment. This machine measures total body weight and divides it into the weight of fat by percentage and the weight of skeletal muscle mass by percentage. It also can give us a measure of total body water and the proportion of water that is inside our cells and outside our cells. The latter measurement is helpful for physicians and nurses who are evaluating clinical situations in which our kidneys are holding on to excessive amounts of water. That'd be like congestive heart failure or chronic kidney disease or chronic liver disease. The important things about these two pieces of equipment is that they're very accurate and they give the same measurement day after day. Therefore, they're useful for those of us who are interested in changing our body composition for health reasons, and are very valuable for health professionals who are teaching management of bone, muscle, and fat to their patients. In our next video session, we will move ahead with a discussion of the management of bone, muscle, and fat tissue, and why they're important. I'll see you then.